Hello!
Oh my god, don't snort. Look at this sour bit.
Hey friends, thank you for clicking on this video and welcome back to my slightly abandoned channel. My name is Romy Jo Swales and you're watching the next episode of a series I call Highlights in History, where we learn about Afrocentric African history. On Wednesdays, we sit down and we learn about indigenous African heroes, heroines, and developed societies while I do some makeup. So if that sounds like something you might be keen on hearing about, please consider subscribing, liking, leaving a comment, the works, and maybe even turning on your notifications so that you know when I've posted. As always, I've listed my disclaimers down below, so if you do want to comment, please read them first so that we're all on the same page. And my references can also be found there in case you want to do some further reading for yourself. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm just going to put on the scarf quickly so that my hair gets out of my face. Okay, cool. Now that my hair's all back, let's get into it. Also, I'm totally not a makeup artist, so I'm not going to give you like pointers on this. This is just me having fun. Just another disclaimer. I might get the pronunciations of these words a bit wrong. I'm neither French nor from the West African region. I've tried to look up all of the pronunciations before I filmed this, but I think sometimes they were a little off, so I don't mean any disrespect. As always, let's start off with some context and setting for our story today with some history on the West African region. Prior to colonial rule, the West African region was actually known for a multitude of wealthy and established empires. So present-day Mali is a combination of three old West African empires, namely the Ghana Empire, the Songhai Empire, and the Mali Empire. You might know the famous Mali Empire from the 1200s to the 1600s as the home of the wealthy ruler Mansa Musa. The region accumulated much of its wealth from the taxation of their abundant natural resources, namely gold, salt, and copper. The numerous coalitions that existed made for some of the wealthiest empires in the world, and after the introduction of Islam in the 11th century, were very well connected to the Islamic empires in the Middle East. The Mali Empire had a strong military to defend its borders, and constructed extravagant architecture like the Great Mosque of Djenné. Now, no story is free from colonizers, so France enters the chat in West Africa in about the 1400s, and by 1677 they had established a slave trading post to take part in the Atlantic slave trade. So during the scramble for Africa, France actually conquered most of the West African region and established the French West Africa Federation, which was made up of Mauritania, Senegal, French Sudan, French Guinea, Ivory Coast, Upper Volta, Dahomey, and Niger. This federation, in many forms, existed from 1895 to 1958. Socially, West Africa operated with a number of different caste systems that varied between ethnic groups. Caste systems are a type of social hierarchy, which means that your birth, occupation, or family line determines all the opportunities available to you and dictates your quality of life. Some forms of caste systems actually still exist today, and in Mali, approximately 200,000 people are still somewhat enslaved. Mali is actually known as one of the worst countries for gender inequality, being rated 150th out of 160 countries on the Gender Inequality Index. As of 2018, only 30% of females are enrolled in secondary education. Less than a third can read a simple sentence, and more than 50% of women are actually married before the age of 18. These facts are to put into context the type of society that our heroine grew up in, the Mali of 1900s, before the country had achieved its independence and back when the opportunities for women were dismal. It is to help us appreciate the great strides she made for women's rights not only in Mali but also sparked a movement throughout the continent of Africa. Okay, so let's get to it. On July the 12th, 1912, AOUA was born into the respectable, well-off Kéita family in the then capital city, Bamako, of French Sudan. Her family was said to be descendants of the famous prince and founder of the Mali Empire, Soundiata Kéita, the great uncle of Mansa Musa. Her father practiced polygamy, which was very common of the time, and so she was one of many half-brothers and sisters that all resided in one house with about 25 different apartments. He was from Guinea and fought in World War I for the French in the Colonial Hygiene Service and became a skilled laboratory worker. I just sprayed that all over my mirror. Her mother was from the Ivory Coast and believed very strongly in the traditional role of women in society. That men are superior, should make all the decisions, and that women should be submissive to men, which is like very fitting for the time. The children were taught to master their emotions and practice self-restraint and discipline, as the Keita family held a very well-respected position in the community. This is looking like clown makeup. Weirdly enough though, her father believed in the equal education of all of his sons and daughters. And so, against the mother's wishes, in 1923 at the age of 11, AOUA was enrolled into the first all-girls school in Mali, which was usually for mixed-race girls or a handful of African girls. She graduated at age 16 and moved on to study midwifery in Dakar, Senegal. This was an achievement because firstly, her father had encouraged her again to seek tertiary education, which was like, and secondly, because this school actually only accepted 15 to 30 females every year. So, I mean, our girl was focused and she was bright. At the age of 19 in 1931, she received a diploma in midwifery from the Dakar School of Medicine. Midwifery, I might add, was one of the only occupations that a female could pursue in West Africa at the time. After receiving her qualifications, she was posted to a small town named Gao in Mali, where she then worked for the colonial government. Over the years, and as a result of her exposure to Western society, her attitude towards society became more and more liberal. She believed in radical ideas like marrying for love and rejecting patriarchal structures and gender oppressions. Although she held fast to a traditional African culture, she was taking on some French secular culture at the same time. So it was during this period when she worked as a midwife that she became increasingly aware of the issues facing women in her society. And her sterile, westernized birthing techniques were not very popular amongst the people in this little town. To combat this, she decided to integrate herself into society more by learning the local language and joining a sewing class so that she could learn more about the indigenous customs and beliefs surrounding childbirth. Her goal was to amalgamate modern medical practices with cultural customs. She began to assume a more leadership role in the community, and her house was where people from different walks of life used to gather. In 1935, AOUA married a co-worker of hers, Dr. Daouda Diawara, who shared her political interests as well as her beliefs in gender equality. The story about their first wedding night goes as follows. At the time in Mali, it was customary for an older female to witness the consummation of their marriage, so the first time they have sex, and to assist the groom if the bride resisted. When the relative arrived to do just this, it said that AOUA's husband placed her outside of the door and would not let her in, which caused quite a stir in the community at the time. As the educated and politically enlightened African elite power couple that they were, they soon joined the African Democratic Rally, or the RDA, which is a French word, in 1946. She was said to become extremely active, passionate, and militant in the RDA, which had significant influence over the different French African colonies. She utilized the trust she had garnered from the women in her community as a result of her exceptional midwifery to gather them and hold meetings about women's rights, Africa's independence from colonial rule, and voting. So sort of like a politics and breastfeeding party, if you will. Sadly, after 13 years of marriage, AOUA and her husband got divorced in 1949. The issue was that while her husband treated her as an equal in private at home, in public they could rarely act that way. It was also becoming clear that she could not fall pregnant, and after a lot of pressuring from her husband's mother and the threat of a curse, he eventually divorced her. Hi babes.
Hi.
What's up?
Are you at home?
I am, yeah. The divorce actually liberated AOUA from her husband's shadow and freed her from the contradictions of her marriage. As a result of her anti-colonial sentiments, she kept getting posted to more and more remote locations. Oopsie. And her political rivals affectionately called her the little midwife from Gao. Honestly, she didn't care. Her voice advocating for health reforms and women's rights became louder and louder. Her increased involvement resulted in constant threats and bullying, and her friends, family, and political affiliates were encouraged to constrain her, and many people said that it was quite lucky that she wasn't assassinated during this time. In 1957, she co-founded the Union of Salaried Women of Bamako, as well as helped to establish the Federation of Black African Workers, and helped to coordinate the Pan-African Women's Organization. Hope you can tell where I'm going with this makeup look. It's meant to be giving like... Well, you can tell me what you think it's giving. In 1958, she was appointed the RDA's Commissioner for Women and organized the Bamako Women's Bureau. She was the only woman to be elected to the political office of the Sudanese Union of the RDA, the committee to draft the first constitution of the Sudanese Republic, and the first woman in French-speaking West Africa to be appointed to parliament. Mali gained independence on the 20th of June 1960, and the leader of the US RDA, Modibo Keïta, became the president of the now one-party state.
Hi everyone, just give me a second. I just need a volume moment. Oh my god, don't snort. So we are talking about
A woman's rights activist from Mali.
I don't know who Mali is. I know who Bob is. I don't know if you heard about the whole Angel Reese with the basketball situation.
The one who was arrested in Russia.
Girl, oh my god. Romy claims to be woke, she's not woke. They played the finals of the basketball, and this one girl on the opposing team, she always did this to her people. Like you can see me, John Cena. Then Angel Reese did it to this white girl, and then all of a sudden it was a problem, and she had no etiquette and she had no decorum. It got picked up by like all the sports teams and stuff and whatever. Everyone was like, but why is it the problem now? Because
she's been doing it.
Caitlyn did it before. Now Angel's doing it. Angel didn't apologize, and then Joe Biden said everyone's a winner and stuff. Now the losing team must also come to the White House. Meanwhile, it's only the winning team that's supposed to come to the White House, but because the winning team was all black, she was like, no, let the losers and the winners come. What did Thingy say? Angel, she said, no, sorry, period. Romy likes the streets, I don't. Please get this in. My hair looks nice like
cute.
this. Okay, guys, I'm loving leave you.
My battery died, so while I was doing that, I'd finish out my look. Where was I? Unfortunately, her political career came to an abrupt halt when the president was overthrown by a coup d'etat, and her and her husband fled to the Congo. It was during this exile period that she published her famous autobiography, Femme d'Afrique, in 1975, for which she won this famous award for that I cannot pronounce. AOUA and her husband eventually returned to Bamako in 1979. And sadly, she passed away a year later on the 7th of May 1980 at the age of 67. For Keïta, fostering a change in women's mentality became her main preoccupation during the 1960s, and particularly after Mali gained its independence. She became a radical feminist in promoting the rights of women in the French Sudan. In both her public and private life, she was determined to fuse tradition with new ideas, which proved to be a potent political combination. As a US RDA party member, a representative of the National Assembly, a national leader, she became a founder of the Republic of Mali and received many honors and awards for her work. Okay, that was a lot, but I hope you enjoyed that story of the history of some women's rights movements in West Africa. This is my final look. And thank you to my friend Keenan for his little cameo and for styling me all cute. Wait, I'll show you this little thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this so you can join me on the next one, and have a wonderful day and be safe and kind.